What up, gamers? I'm Jason.
I'm Julie.
And today on Dicing Dragons, we are going to be reviewing Zombicide 2nd Edition. Wait, didn't we already review Zombicide 2nd Edition?
Yes, but this is a special format.
Yes, this is the travel version of Zombicide 2nd Edition, of course by CMON Games, because they published the original, and designed by the same designers, Jean-Baptiste, Lullien, Raphaël Guiton, and Nicolas, Raoult. Yes, they're French, and I speak some French, so I'm pretty sure I did that fairly well. Maybe not with the quite, the French from France pronunciation. We do live in Canada. So, with that being said, I'm going to toss it over to Julie, who will tell you more about the game itself.
So, it is basically the same Zombicide. It is still a cooperative game. It is still for ages 14 and above, 1 to 6 players, and the box still lies about the length of time for play. It says 60 minutes. It is not.
No. You have some missions that are labeled as 30 minutes, some that are labeled as 60 minutes, but depending on the way the cards come out and the zombies you will be facing in your die rolls, it can go like this. So take that time, throw it in the trash. You're almost never going to hit the 1 hour playtime.
Given the size of the components, this is definitely not for young kids. These are tiny, tiny pieces, like tiny. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, this is definitely for your, preteens or tweens, teenagers, like really in that 10 and above range if you wanted to take it down a little lower. So just like the regular Zombicide, you will be setting up a scenario. In this case, when we get to the components, which we'll see in just a moment, you'll be setting it up on a board. You'll be using some pieces to lock it into place. You'll be taking out your survivors and trying to complete the scenario objectives before you succumb to the zombie horde that is bent on ripping you to pieces. I think that was a little graphic. Now, we're not going to be getting this to the table one more time. Just a travel version feels kind of weird setting it up when we're not really traveling. We did want to play the game and just do a nice comparison. So if you are looking for a full review on the game, well, there is a card popping up right now. Click that. Take a look at our review on Zombicide 2nd Edition, because they are essentially, I'd say 99.9% the exact same game. Now we'll have our how to play showing up a little bit later. It'll pop up when we get to the end of the video. I don't think there's anything else to say.
Nope. Grab our drinks.
Grab our best friend. And then we're going to take you to the components. Now we're going to take a quick look at the components for Zombicide 2nd Edition, the Travel Edition. So as you can see, we've got this nice board. We also have our dice, which are included. There are 3 on each side, and they spin pretty well, at least when I can get my finger on them. We also have the Zombicide 2nd Edition rulebook. Now, this rulebook does contain all of the rules for Zombicide, so there's not that much of a change in terms of the experience with regards to this travel edition and the regular edition. It's really just the abominations, as there are no special type of abominations in this game. So, as you can see, if you've read the rules, fairly straightforward, and is just a smaller version of a lot of the stuff that was included in the original game. Now we have the mission book as well, and you do have all of the different missions that were available in Zombicide 2nd Edition. So you do get a total of 24. I thought it was 25. Yeah, you have 25 total missions available in the game, which I think is just really cool. We have all the tiles. Now they are the same double-sided tiles, just smaller, that you have in 2nd Edition. I'm not going to go through all of them. And as you can see right here, we have these little holders here to help you keep the tiles in the gameplay area. Now, I'm not going to pick up the figures. They're just too small. I'll try to pick up one, bring it close to the camera. I don't think it's going to focus well on it. But as you can see, we've got all the different characters. We've got Amy, Ned, Wanda, Josh, Phil, and Doug. And they're all color-coded so you can tell them apart. You can see Wanda right up there is the same green. Let's try to pick up Wanda just so you can see. It's a little tricky with my my big fingers, but they did a good job representing her, even if the miniature is not very detailed. Then we've got our walkers, runners, fatties, and the abomination. Now, we'll take a look at the characters here. As you can see, they're exactly identical, just on these smaller sheets from the original 2nd edition characters. You've got your adrenaline track, your skills, the 3 backpack slots, their 2 hands, and then their health goes over here. The red dial is for the health. The yellow ones, which you have a whole bunch of, and as you can see, they're not that easy to pick up. These are for your skills as you level up. And then the last one here, the black one, is your adrenaline tracker. So all the characters have the same skills that they have in the original game. Now you may be wondering why I have one out here, but I want to show you the card holder, just how well it works. It holds 4 cards, and then we'll really just sort of rest on the middle there, holding down that 5th middle card. So you can see we've got the doors, and just like in Zombicide 2nd edition, you've got the blue and green ones, as well as the red one. We've got the standard spawn point, the blue and the green spawn point. We have the black one, which represents the starting spawn point. We have the reference card here for the cars, the pimp mobiles, and the police cars. And these cards are double-sided, so you just flip them over depending on what you want them to be. We've got all the tokens. Now these are double-sided just like in the original game. So this blue one is also a red token. The yellow is for your pimp weapons. We've got the exit. We've got the noise marker. Here we've got our stack of gear. So we have the same starting gear with the same stats. And you have all the other gear that was present in 2nd edition. Let me just slide these off the edge here. Next, we've got the pimp weapons, which are, once again, all of the same items from 2nd edition, just small. As you can see, the cards are a little tricky to handle. And then lastly, we've got the zombie deck, don't know where I was going with that, which is identical to the 2nd edition zombie cards. So there you have it. We've now taken a look at all of the components for Zombicide 2nd edition, the travel version, and Julie and I will be coming back at you with our review of this travel version of the game. Now, before we get into our review and our thoughts on Travel Zombicide, I just want to clarify what we will be discussing. That is specifically the experience of this big game shrunk down into this little box. If you would like to see our review for Zombicide 2nd edition, what we think of the game system, how much fun we had with it, well, definitely take a look on the channel. You can find our review as we have already posted it. There was a card earlier in the video. I'm not going to put up another one, so just take a look if you happen to skip ahead and missed it. So that being said, Julie, what did you think of this travel version of Zombicide? And I know you were quite skeptical when I brought it into the house. You were like, how much did you pay for it? Was it worth it? I'm really curious.
Think I asked how much. I said, okay, another Zombicide? The same Zombicide, but smaller? So it's a neat concept. And actually, I was thinking that it would have been fun to have on some of our vacations that we went where, we're in a hotel room. It would have been nice to play this instead of some of the other travel games that we brought. Because it is Zombicide, and spoiler alert if you've never seen any of our reviews of Zombicide, we do enjoy ourselves some Zombicide, right?
Yes, 100%.
So this is the same characters that we've played in Zombicide.
Yeah, this is essentially the core box shrunk down into this travel version. So you don't have, there are a few missing elements, such as there are no special abominations. You just have the standard abomination, but that really is the only difference with the rules. There are no campaigns and no other extra stuff that you can get for it at this point in time.
So I mean, I think it's a neat concept. I think it's fun to be able to bring that they were able to shrink this down, and we'd be able to bring it somewhere. It's very portable. I felt bad for Jason as he was moving things around because if you look at these meaty sausage fingers,
yours aren't that much smaller than mine, but at least yours are pointier, so I guess you are able to do this a little easier.
So I had to pick up the zombies that fell over because Jason would knock over other zombies trying to pick up the zombies that fell over. So, I mean, that's what I'm trying to say is the pieces are really small. So if you have big, thick fingers, you may be swearing at the components a little bit. So maybe make sure you have somebody who has more slender fingers playing with you. The other thing I would say that's not as cool are the cards. They are tiny. Now, I get why they're supposed to be that small because they have to fit in the box and they've got these little slots for them in the box. They are really difficult to shuffle. And I mean, like, you're talking like, you know, when you play the kids' games of cards, you know, they're smaller than that. So you have to either be a master shuffler or you have to find another way to shuffle your cards. Because we ran into a little bit of a problem with the way that the cards were shuffled, which was negatively impeding our mission.
Exactly. This is the first time that we played the game, so obviously a lot of the stuff that was similar was stuck together because that's just the way things come out of production. So all the food they gave you AP was stuck together, all the Molotov cocktails are stuck together. Yeah, the submachine guns are essentially back to back. You get the point, like it was just a little bit of a pain to organize everything. And I agree with Julie. I think the cards could have been a little bit bigger. There would still be room for the base, or they could have potentially made the base a little bigger and made this box a little bigger, because the cards are definitely the one part of the experience that I really did not enjoy whatsoever. Now, using them when you're playing, the legibility of the cards, it's not so bad. I think they did a good job with regards to taking all the graphics and shrinking them down to the card size, but just using them and handling them and shuffling them is a little bit of a pain. And some of the trays work better than others on the side. I think those side trays for the cards could have been just a little bit better thought out. I see what they were going for in terms of trying to make it so the cards can't really blow away in the wind. But I think there are some other concepts that would have just been a lot more user-friendly.
It didn't bother me quite as much. I wasn't sure when Jason showed me that, you know, the dice incorporated to the side of the case. I was like, yeah, how's that going to work? But it worked surprisingly well.
Yes, I have to admit, I saw that as well. As like the dice are these little things that we're going to spin. So instead of rolling D6s, we're going to spin D6s on the side. And I had a lot of fun with it. They worked very well. They were easy to use. And having 3 on each side wasn't really a problem. I get why there's 3 on each side instead of having like 6, because if you're playing on a small table, you're going to have, you know, 2 people on one side, 2 people on the other side. So you need to make sure that everything is within reach for all the players. And it wasn't that difficult. If you had to roll 4, you just spun 3, then spun 1. No problem.
Yeah. Just sorry.
And we're back. Julie needed a sip and needed to freshen up a little bit. So sorry for that quick interlude. Julie, you were talking about the tokens, or you're going to talk about the tokens? I was
about to say that the tokens are really small. And I'm thinking if there's a lot of movement, like I wouldn't play this on a plane because you had some turbulence and you got some, you know, zombies and whatever. Some of the stuff is locked down, but not everything. So, I mean, it is portable, but you can't just play it anywhere, I would say.
No, this is definitely not something that you can play in a moving vehicle. You're going to need some space for zombies to put on the side, and if anyone taps the board, it will all go flying. All of the tokens, zombies, everything like that. So it does limit the portability. What I would say is that this game is really designed to have a nice, concise table space, whereas when we were playing Zombicide, it would take up like the whole table. This version will probably take up, you know, maybe the size of these 2 leaflets max. That's including the space for your characters. And they did a really great job with the card holders for the characters. They have 4 slots, and essentially the card holder will rest on like the middle card for your backpack and use that weight to hold it down. So everything we took out of it wasn't damaged. So I thought that was really good in terms of the quality of the components. Now, the zombies are not really anything to write home about. You have a little bit of detail. Same thing with the survivor miniatures. I do like the fact that they're all different colors, which does make it very easy to tell them apart, and you don't need the colored bases. Other than that, the tokens to go on the survivors are cool. I like the fact that the arrows almost line up perfectly with the arrows on the cards. So I think that everything that they did production-wise to add a nice little pop to it, it was very well done, and it has nice table presence, even though it's really, this small, concise package.
Agreed. Sorry about the coughing. I definitely like the player boards. Like you said, I'm not going to repeat you. I feel like the cardstock was a little thin, so I was a little afraid of bending it when I was moving the things around. So you have to be a little careful with them with that. But I agree. It's great table presence. It is well produced.
So overall, I don't think there's really much more we want to add about Zombicide 2nd Edition, the travel edition of the game. I'm going to let Julie give you a score now. Just a reminder, this is not a score for Zombicide 2nd Edition. This is a score for the value that you're getting in this travel package. So what do you think of this, Julie?
So I'm gonna give my preface before I give the score. I'm gonna say the reasons why I'm gonna give it the score that I am, based on the fact that the portability, the table presence, the ease of playing, the entertainment of playing, all of that factor. I'm gonna give this an 8. I think it's a very fun, portable way to play this game. I think they did a great job. There's a couple of little things that aren't perfect, which is why it doesn't have higher, but this is one of the most portable versions of a game this complex that I've seen. I think they did a fantastic job, and if you like Zombicide and would like to be able to play it other places than, having it spread over your huge dining room table, then, I think this is a nice alternative.
Yeah, and I'm going to agree with you, Julie. I'm going to give this an 8 as well. I think that if you're trying to play Zombicide and you want a concise version, you only have a coffee table, you want to take it to a coffee house and play it, you want to go to a large game night where table presence is going to be an issue, you can pack this up and bring it with you. Or if you're like me, who has to travel for work, this is a great way to pack up a game that's going to be fun and bring it with you. It works very well in a backpack. It can go in a suitcase. So this is a fantastic thing when it comes to travel. Also, as Julie said, this is a fantastic miniaturized version. Now, I said that word, the F word, multiple times, but I'm trying to think of a simile and it's not coming to mind. With regards to everything that you're getting, you've got the full mission set that you get in the original Zombicide. You also have all the rules. You're just missing a few things with regards to the abominations. Now, this is not going to replace the big Zombicide. Like, we're not going to take this out and play it here. That being said, if we were going to like the Aegis game day and people were like, we really want to play Zombicide, whereas there is limited table space, this is the kind of thing that we could bring with us. Or if we're going down to relax down south when we can travel again, well, guess what? We can play this one evening instead of watching TV.
Agreed. I think that's all we have to say about it, don't we?
Yep, that's all we have to say. So we just like to remind everyone to
like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified when we have some new content for you.
And take a look down below in the video description if you'd like to see pictures of Julie and I playing Zombicide Travel Edition. There'll be plenty of pictures down there on all of our social media feeds. There's also a link down there to multizone.ca, a great Canadian game store. Click that link and make sure to enjoy the nice discount that you're going to get, and it will be a way for you to support the channel. So a portion of that purchase is returned to us. That's actually where I happened to stumble upon this travel edition. And then popping up in front of us are going to be links to some of our previously released videos. In front of me will be our most recent release, and in front of Julie will be our How to Play of Zombicide 2nd Edition. With that being said, we now need to
grab our drink,
grab our best friend,
and we're going to keep playing games. We're obviously going to keep playing Zombicide.
Yeah, we've got enough versions of it, and we do enjoy. I wonder when we're going to get to Fort Hendricks. Hopefully soon.